In the cadaver model, the subcutaneous tissue is illustrated by the slightly yellowish tint, and the dermis is the thin pink layer on top. When we're performing simple interrupted sutures in the skin, we typically want to engage the dermis and hypodermis without getting a whole lot of subcutaneous tissue incorporated. You can see I'm using the needle holder to grasp the needle, and I'm indicating the swage end and the point, or the tip. I'm placing it about 1/3 of the way from the swage to the tip. And you're placing the needle in perpendicular to the needle holder, never hold it at an angle, and I'm ratcheting it closed. Now I'm separating the incision with my thumb forceps without pinching the edges, and then I'm advancing the needle across, and you can see how I curve my wrist and pull the needle out with a curve so that I don't damage the tissue. I follow the curve of the needle. Gathering the suture in your non-dominant hand allows you to control it and keep it neat. And then we're going to place the needle holder in the center between the two strands, the needle end and the short end, perpendicular to that suture. We're going to wrap once around the end of the needle holder, grasp the short end, and now pull your hands to opposite sides of the incision. This is going to form the first throw of a square knot. For skin sutures in small animals, we typically leave these slightly loose, but tight enough to hold the skin in that position, so not crushing it. Now I'm gonna, again, place the needle holder in the center between the two strands, wrap around the instrument, grab the short end, and pull back to the opposite sides of the incision. You can see a square knot forming as I pull in a horizontal direction. Don't pull up until the knot is formed. Then you can pull up slightly at about a 30-degree angle, and that prevents the knot from slipping down and tightening on the skin. We're going to complete 2 more throws for a total of at least 4 throws with any of the suture patterns that we're doing. And then we're going to cut these ends about 5 to 8 millimeters long so that these are easy to remove in the future. It's a skin suture. Now, I'm going to place a second simple interrupted suture here just to show that we want to have the distance between the sutures be, about 8 millimeters in the skin in a small animal. And you want to try to be consistent in placing the sutures so that the distance from the entry point into the skin and to the incision and on the opposite side are about equal. And the distance between each of the sutures is equal. We're going to complete another 4 throws, placing the instrument in the center between the two strands, wrapping it, grabbing the short end, and pulling to the opposite side. Now watch closely here as I cut the suture. I'm keeping the instrument clamped after I finish my last throw, and I'm passing it to my non-dominant hand so that I control the suture end and the instrument end. Then I can grab the scissors with my right hand and cut without ever having released the suture. The cruciate suture pattern is much like the simple interrupted and begins by passing the needle across the incision, taking bites that are about 4 to 5 millimeters from the edge of the skin and exiting the same distance away. The suture's gathered, and then instead of tying a knot here, we take another bite across the incision, advancing about 8 millimeters in between bites. Here I'm passing the needle all the way across the incision at once. When you're starting, you might try passing to the incision and then inserting the needle again at the incision. I'm going to place the needle holder in the center between the two ends as usual. Wrap the end of the instrument and pull. Repeat that 4 times. You can see I'm pulling horizontally to form a square knot and avoiding pulling up on one end or the other, which can cause the formation of half hitches. After we've performed 4 throws, I'm going to ratchet the instrument, pass it to my left hand, and hold the suture end so that I can cut. I'm just going to demonstrate a second suture being placed so you can see the spacing between should equal the spacing in between the bites. Advancing the needle across the incision, straight across. gathering the suture, making a second pass, and pulling the suture through as we complete our 4 throws. You can see that the spacing between each of these bites and between my 2 sutures is nearly equal. This will create good apposition of the skin without gapping. We're going to complete 4 throws. And finally, cut the suture at 5 to 8 millimeters long so that it's easy to retrieve these later as we're removing the skin sutures. Mattress sutures are used to distribute tension over larger areas of tissue. The first suture we'll demonstrate is the horizontal mattress, which is performed initially by just grasping a bite across the incision from far to near, just like a simple interrupted. Then the needle is reversed and a bite is taken in the opposite direction across the incision. This is like a modification of a cruciate suture. But now, as you can see, when you complete the knot, placing the instrument between the 2 strands and performing 4 throws, it will compress the skin in a different manner, creating eversion of the incision. All of the suture material passes under the incision. You can see I undid my first throw because I was unhappy with the tension I could produce, and I replaced it with a surgeon's knot. The horizontal mattress is completed with at least 4 throws. Suture material is cut. Next to it, I'm going to place a vertical mattress suture. The vertical mattress is placed beginning far from the incision. You can see I'm going to actually exit at the incision rather than trying to pass across because my needle's just not long enough to do what I need to do here. Retrieving the needle, I'm going to enter the tissue and exit far from the incision on the other side. So far to far. Now I'm going to reverse the needle and I'm going to enter the incision close to the incision or near, and also exit on the opposite side near. So far to far, then near to near. Now, when we tie this suture, it's going to distribute tension over tissue in a different manner, one that's perpendicular to the incision. As we complete 4 throws, you can see that this suture also creates eversion of the incision because all of the suture is passing underneath the incision rather than over the top of it in the appositional patterns that we've shown before. I'm going to cut this suture and then just demonstrate. The vertical mattress suture has a little bit less effect on blood supply because only a tiny area of tissue is compressed as blood vessels might enter the area of the incision, whereas the horizontal mattress compresses larger areas of skin that can inhibit blood supply at the incision. Both are effective in distributing tension.